Hi, I'm Dr. Lenore Coleman, President and founder of Healing Our Village. I want to welcome you today on Saturday. As you know, we generally tend to stream between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, our Sugar Busters series, and that's our diabetes education program. It is a certified program by the American Diabetes Educators Association, and we've been at this for about 20 years. We have a 7-part series called Sugar Busters, and we bring these to you on Saturdays, either pre-recorded or live. Today we're live, and that's good for you because you'll be able to ask questions regarding your diabetes, any question that you have. So I encourage you to tune in on Saturdays from 12 to 1. And please share this with your families, with your church members, with all the people in your community that have diabetes. We really, really want to heal the village. And if you participate in all 7 parts of our Sugar Buster series, I guarantee you the management of your diabetes will improve. So 2 weeks ago, we did diabetes overview. Last week, we talked about diabetes medications. And this week, we're going to be talking about nutrition and obesity prevention. As many of you know, there are many people throughout the United States and abroad that are struggling with weight gain, with being overweight or being obese. Here in the United States, we have 66 million people that are overweight. So it is a huge problem here in our country. So we're going to talk about the hardest thing it is, at least for me to do and for many people to do, which is to try to get off that extra 10, 20, 30, 50 pounds that you gained over the last 10, 20 years. Due to COVID in 2019, 20, 21, we shut down the economy, we shut down many jobs, and people were just at home eating. So all of us out here have that COVID-20 is what I call it, that we need to get rid of. So we're going to give you some tips and some clues for you to be able to implement today so that you can start moving toward getting that extra weight off. So again, the Sugar Buster series has all of these topics. And today's topic is going to be nutrition and healthy eating. So the keys to successful management of both your diabetes and your prediabetes is incorporating healthy eating and physical activity into your daily life. I am 69 years old. I know back in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I was going to the gym 4 and 5 times a week. Back in my 20s and 30s, I was going to the gym sometimes twice a day in order to be able to get that 2 hours of exercise in, 1 to 2 hours of exercise in. If you're trying to lose that weight, it's important that you get as much exercise in every day. And as you get older, the longer it is that you have to exercise because you're having to battle that decrease in metabolic rate that happens when you get older. So in order to successfully manage your blood sugar, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, all 3 of those, you have to incorporate healthy eating, physical activity. You need to monitor your medicines and monitor your blood sugars. All 4 of those are the keys to successful management. So we're going to talk about what we eat and why it's important that we watch and monitor what we're consuming every day. And the way to do that is you need to write it down. You need to actually keep, for the first few days of starting a successful meal plan, you have to write down on a piece of paper what you eat so that you can analyze it and be able to make sure that you're not consuming too many calories. The whole trick to this weight loss is calories in, calories out. And so what you're trying to do is take in fewer calories and trying to burn as many calories as you can every single day. So if you can watch what you eat, and if you can get more physical activity, it will decrease your chances of being obese. And so here we have our little guy on the scale here, and he's not happy because he looked at that scale this morning and he knows that that needle is moving in the wrong direction. Those numbers are moving in the wrong direction. Now, why do we care about obesity? Well, we care about being overweight and being obese because we know it can affect your blood vessels. It can cause damage to that. We know it can increase your risk of heart attack and stroke. We know it can affect your ability of your kidneys to function, all right? And you can have, again, not only a heart attack, but a stroke. And we do not want to have people with diabetes and prediabetes to put themselves at risk to having a stroke. That, I think, is, if I have to think about it, having a stroke is probably the worst of all the consequences. Now, in order for you to see where you're at, you need to know what your body mass index is. All right, it's real simple. So right now, you all can pull out your cell phone. You type into Google BMI calculator, BMI calculator. It's going to ask you for your height. It's going to ask you for your weight. And it's going to give you your body mass index number. Here you see on this slide that if you're between 25 and 29, you're actually considered overweight. And if your BMI is 30 or greater, then they consider you to be obese. So you have to be less than 25, 24.9. So you need to be in that range of 18 to 24.9 to be considered to be normal body weight. So many people in this country are overweight. And it's just because of the foods that we eat and because we're not getting the kind of exercise that we used to get 10, 20, 30 years ago. Now, your doctors have a little chart that they use. So if you go to your doctor's office, they'll be able to tell you where you are on this body mass index chart. And see, when you get into that red zone, that means that you are overweight and obese. So we want to stay down here in the green zone where you're at the perfect weight for your height. Now, there's an old proverb, it's an African proverb, and it says, if you wait till tomorrow, tomorrow comes. And if you don't wait for tomorrow, tomorrow still comes. So how many of you out there have said, okay, well, I'm going to start my diet tomorrow. I'm going to stop eating fried foods tomorrow. I'm going to stop drinking sugar sodas, my Coca-Cola and Sprite and all the various sugary drinks out there. I'm going to stop doing that tomorrow. Okay, so we all got to get started today. Every day I try to do something that will help me lose this extra weight that I've put on. I have to get the weight off. It's really important. I have about 30 pounds to lose. If I could get that 30 pounds off, it's going to take a lot of weight and pressure off my knees and off my hips. And that's what we need to do. You need to take the weight off your joints. And if you have diabetes or prediabetes, losing that weight will go a long ways to decreasing your blood sugar. Now, people say, oh, I really need you to eat right. All right, I need you to eat healthy. What does that mean? All right, what it means is eating the things that are on some of this picture and not eating the things that are on this picture. So that hamburger and french fries you see right there, that's a problem. Okay, you cannot eat hamburgers and french fries. But the tomatoes and all those fresh vegetables that you see and that kiwi, all of that are healthy foods. And we want you to incorporate that into your diet. The other really important thing, and this is where I have the biggest problem for me, is making myself eat 3 meals a day. It's just hard for me to eat 3 meals a day. So that, for me, trying to figure out breakfast is always my biggest problem. All right, trying to figure out what should I eat for breakfast. So that's, if you can figure that out, and what I've now done is trying to eat my, cereals and with some little 1% milk. This morning, I actually had banana nut muffin, really small, one muffin, and some mango, and my cup of coffee. So you just have to eat something in the morning to get your metabolic rate going and letting your body know that you're not trying to starve it. Because if your body thinks that you're trying to starve it, what it does is hold on to every calorie you consume. We want your body to be efficient. We want your body to burn everything that you consume. And the only way for it to do that is for you to eat regularly. 3 meals and snacks, actually, in between the meals. So, when you think about healthy eating, there are different what we call food pyramids. This one you see on the slide actually comes from FDA.gov. If you go to FDA.gov and type in My Pyramid, it will tell you all the different food groups and what foods are in those food groups and how much of a given food you can have. All right? Because we're looking for your portions, for your serving sizes to be small to medium. So one of the problems is that we eat way too much. All right, it's interesting. Some of you may have the china from your grandmothers or from your aunts or your great aunts. I want you to pull out one of their plates and compare it to the plate that you bought at a store recently. What you're going to see is the plates are smaller. So 30, 40, 50 years ago, we were eating less than we're eating right now. And 30, 40 years ago, we were working all day outside. So now that we've moved our work to the inside, now that we're sitting more than we're moving, that makes it harder for us. They also recommend that you eat at the same time every day if you can, and not to skip meals. And also trying to watch your portions, how much of a given food you're eating. I happen to like the food pyramid that comes from Dr. Wells's anti-inflammatory diet. I like that diet because I tend to have issues with arthritis and joints pain, and so I need to try to decrease my inflammation in my body. Being overweight just by itself increases your inflammation. So that's why when you lose weight, not only do you take the weight off of your joints, but you also decrease your inflammatory things that are in your body that are causing trouble. So I like this diet. It's just your typical food pyramid. The way food pyramids work is you want to eat a lot of the stuff at the bottom of the pyramid, a lot of the stuff at the bottom of the pyramid, and fewer of the things at the top of the pyramid. I happen to like this pyramid because it has chocolate, it has red wine, and it has green tea. And those 3 things I think are important to decreasing, again, the inflammation in your body. All right, and it's a well-balanced diet. Now, before you consume any alcohol, you have to ask your doctor if that's okay, if you have diabetes or you have heart disease. But if they approve it for you to have small amounts throughout the week, then that's certainly something that you can think about. And there are actually sugar-free chocolate. So when you go to the store and you're one of those chocoholics like me, I look for the sugar-free stuff so that I can still get my chocolate in, just a little bit of it every day, and I'm eating it and it's sugar-free. Now, this is the hard part for all of us who are trying to lose weight, is the planning part of meal planning. It's the planning part of meal planning. We want you to plan your meals and think ahead, because we know that if you do meal planning, you'll probably be eating the appropriate amount of calories. We also know that you'll probably be eating low carbohydrate, low fat, which is going to help your cholesterol and help maintain your blood glucose. So we want you to plan your meals as much as possible. I went out and got a lot of cookbooks where I'm now trying to cook those meals for my dinner. And so actually, I actually have someone now that I'm working with who's a chef, and she's helping me. So this last week, I actually had her prepare 2 weeks worth of food for me that I then froze in my freezer. And now I take out every day what I'm going to eat for dinner. So now it's all planned out. I don't have to think about it. I don't like to cook. For those cooks out there, this is the way that you need to do this, because you are planning what you're going to eat, and you're also putting it into portion controlled containers so you're not eating too much. Very important. Now, when you're thinking about planning, you got to think about what you're going to do when you go away for a vacation. What are you going to eat when you're out and you need to eat out at a restaurant, or if you're in between jobs and you have to go through a fast food place? Some of you have to eat fast foods, but you know what? There are all sorts of things on that at that fast food menu. So you could, instead of having the hamburger, you could have the grilled chicken. Even if you got the grilled chicken, you could take one of the buns off and only eat one bun instead of two. All right? You don't have to get the fries. Some of these restaurants now have salads, so you could substitute. So there is a way, even at a fast food restaurant, where you can substitute and be able to eat the healthy diets. There's something called a plate method. What that means is if you get your plate, half of your plate should be vegetables. A fourth of your plate should be the protein that you're going to eat, fish or turkey or chicken, fish. And then the other fourth should be your starch, your carbohydrate. So when you dish up your plate, if you keep that in mind, that again helps you with portion control. And then you need to have, again, that conversation with your doctor about using alcoholic drinks. The problem with most alcoholic drinks, especially mixed drinks, is they're sugary. They have a lot of sugar in them, okay? And so that can be a problem. So now you're thinking about choices. What food am I going to buy at the store? What foods am I going to keep in my refrigerator? What am I going to eat every day? So you need to try to focus on the low-calorie foods. Foods that are high in fiber. So you got your apples, you got your pears. You're looking for your beans and your peas and your lentils. Lettuce and cucumbers. They're basically like eating water. You can have as much salad, as much cucumbers as you want. Whole grains. All of those are full of fiber, and that's important because it slows down your digestion. And the slower you digest your foods, the less chance it is for those foods to spike your blood sugar. All right? You want to avoid foods that are high in calories. So you got your salad dressing, you got your cheeses, you got your whole milk, you got your fried foods, fried chicken, you got your cakes, cookies, ice creams. All of those are high in calories, and they also tend to be high in fat. So you want to only eat small amounts of those, or eliminate those if you can, and try to really focus on your foods that are low in calories. Smaller portions, smaller amounts of meat, only maybe eat meat one time a week. More fish and chicken 20 times a week, or just go meatless, no meat at all. Bake and broil your foods. Grilling is a good thing to do. If you like grilled foods, those are great. And then just avoiding things like sausage and bacon and hot dogs and nuts. A lot of you are eating nuts out there. Nuts are healthy. They're good for you, but they're full of fat. So you can only have a small amount, right? So you can't eat the whole can of nuts that you buy at the grocery store. When you're thinking about, again, healthy eating, if you're going to drink milk, it needs to be low-fat milk, 1%, all right, or skim, but I like 1%. I bought a whole new set of pans. So they're all nonstick. And so when I'm trying to saute or fry up anything, I'm using sprays in that pan, right, that I use, or maybe just a small amount of canola oil in order to be able to saute my vegetables, my meats, etc. So cooking sprays, vegetable oil is definitely a way to go. And then again, eating less of the things that you know have sugar. You want to eat less of those because they are full of calories and full of fat. Now let's go through the food groups so you understand them. All right, so we talk about carbohydrates. What are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are your simple sugars, like you see in this picture, your cookies, your cakes, your ice cream. Those are all simple sugars. But we also have to worry about foods that contain cornstarch, all right, or simple syrups. So you have to read your labels, and your labels are going to tell you what's in whatever you're eating. And if sugar or any of the fructose or maltose or glucose, anything that ends in ose, if those are on your label and they're part of the first 5 ingredients, that means they're high in whatever you're about to eat. So we want to decrease our simple sugars, that go into your body quickly, and we want to increase our complex carbohydrates. So that's the difference between a potato would be a complex carbohydrate, as opposed to rice, which is still a carbohydrate, but it's easier for your body to break that rice down than it is for it to break down a potato. So within those categories of carbohydrates, you're again making those choices of eating the stuff that has the most fiber possible. Simple sugars are your honey, your fruit juices, your corn syrup. You want to eat, if you're going to eat a fruit, it needs to be, like I said, pears or apples or things that are high in fiber. Let's talk about melons, for instance. We want you to eat, cantaloupe, really low in calories, a lot of fiber. Much better to eat a cantaloupe than a watermelon. Watermelon has way more sugar in it. So within a food group, you're making these choices between more cantaloupe, less watermelon. Okay, grapes. Grapes are high in sugar. They make wine from grapes. All right, so they're high in sugar. So you want to so if you're making the choice between grapes and an apple, you're going to do apples. All right, now we want to decrease these simple sugars because they go into your blood system very quickly and they spike your blood sugar. And when you spike your blood sugar, you damage your eyes, you damage your kidney, you damage your heart, you damage your blood vessels. So we don't want you spiking your blood sugar. So we want your blood sugar to stay constant as much as it can throughout the day. Now, let's talk about the other reason for eating high complex carbohydrates. It's going to, first of all, fill you up more, so you won't be as hungry. But it also improves insulin sensitivity. So those of you out there that have diabetes and prediabetes, most of you have high circulating levels of insulin. That's bad. We don't want you to have high circulating levels of insulin because we know that insulin, the hormone insulin that comes from your pancreas, basically its job is to help your body store fat. It helps your body store fat. So we want to get your insulin levels down. We don't want them to be high. And so the more complex carbohydrates you eat, the better it is for your insulin levels. Now, let's talk about what they are. Those are your bread, your cereal, your beans, your peas, your potatoes, starchy vegetables. All of those are considered to be complex carbohydrates. We want you also to eat fiber. There's 2 types of fiber. There's soluble and there's insoluble fiber. Now, let's talk a little bit about protein. That comes from your meat. It comes from your fish. And so we need protein. And you have to get so much protein every day. We want about 15% of your calories to come from protein. So that's about 75 grams per day of protein. So when you're talking about servings, you should probably have a protein source at 2 of the meals that you're having. And we want that protein source to be about 6 to 8 ounces. Okay, of meat. No, I should actually say 4 to 6 ounces of protein per meal, twice a day. Dairy products provide protein, but we also want to use those dairy products that take the fat out. That's why the percentage is important. So we talked about 1%. So look at the difference between the calories in a cup of whole milk, 150 calories, as opposed to the calories in a cup of skim milk, 90 calories. So that's a big difference in terms of the grams of fat that's in that milk product. We want you to reduce your fat intake as much as possible. Only 10% of what you're eating in total calories per day should come from fat. And the fats you choose are also important. We don't want you to be using saturated fats. I mentioned canola oil. all right, as opposed to a hard condensed oil. Those are saturated fats, right? So we want you to use more monounsaturated fats than saturated fats. So when you're talking about your saturated fats, we know it comes from meat, butter, lard, whole milk, coconut oil, palm oil. A lot of you are using coconut oil. Coconut oil is high in fat. So that's not the oil that I would want you to use or to cook with, right? We want you to use vegetable oils. Those are less high in fat. We're going to take a break right here and let you get up and walk around your house, get yourself a cup of water, come on back, and we're going to finish up our session on sugar busters, how to prevent obesity, and nutrition and healthy eating.
Epigallocatechin gallate, superoxide dismutase, glutathione peroxidase. Now, those are names you probably aren't familiar with, but you should be. Those are antioxidants known to fight free radicals. In fact, did you know that some viruses are actually alcohol resistant? One major study showed that by adding the epigallocatechins from green tea, it killed the virus on contact. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mark Johnson. I'm here to share with you an exciting new, technologically advanced, patent-pending green tea hand sanitizing wash from Handout Protection. Now, this is not your typical hand gel designed to just smear all over your hand. This is a hand washing sanitizer to cover your entire hand, both the front and back of your hand, in between your fingers and your wrist. This is a non-sticky sanitizing hand wash designed for convenience to take with you in your purse, pocket, or carry in your lunchbox. As Dr. Josh Ridge has stated, what goes on your body goes into your body. That is why we choose only the highest FDA-compliant ingredients, such as 75% isopropyl alcohol, an organic green tea brewed with alkaline water. The only way to protect yourself and your family is to always carry a disposable package of Handout with you. This may be the only handout you ever need.
Test tubes. That's the amount of fat that is in those various products. So you can see the one with the highest amount of fat is butter. You can see that beef has more white, more. Here is your shelves at the grocery store full of your vegetable oils. I like canola or peanut. If you're going to use those oils, that's what you should be cooking with. All of those oils are based on that Mediterranean diet. It's a very good diet, low in fat, low in carbohydrate, and it's good for your cholesterol because it helps to raise your good cholesterol, raise your HDL cholesterol. Here's some more ideas of vegetable oils, okay? So you see your peanut oil and your canola, very little fat in those test tubes. But take a look at your olive and your avocado. Avocados are very healthy, but think of them as just eating butter because of all the vegetables out there, it's got one of the highest concentrations of fat. So sometimes in the morning I eat an avocado toast. I'm using that avocado like I'm putting butter on my toast. But at least it's a vegetable and I'm getting more of the nutrients than butter, which doesn't have any nutrients. It's only a fat product. Your polyunsaturated fats are found in fish oils, vegetable oils. They have that omega-3 and 6 fatty acid in it, which is good for your cholesterol. It increases it lowers your LDL cholesterol and can raise your HDL cholesterol. We don't want to eat too much of it though, because it can sometimes be harmful. We're also looking at these other oils. Here's corn oil. Right? We look at that. Some of you used to use that as your vegetable oil. Here's soybean. You see they're very low. Look at your safflower. All of these oils would be good oils for you to be able to cook with. We know that all of these oils on this slide, hazelnut oil, pecan oil, soybean oil, olive oil, rapeseed, which is your canola, all of these are good oils for you to incorporate into your diet. I want to talk to you all about salt, especially if you have high blood pressure. We have way too much salt in our diet. You should not be cooking with anything that's salt. So no seasoning salt, onion salt, garlic salt. If it says salt, stop using it. You need to be using powders. So you need to be using onion powder, garlic powder, all right? We need to get as much of our salt from natural sources. We need to not be using foods, processed foods, where there's a whole lot of salt that's added. We're all supposed to be consuming no more than 1 teaspoonful of salt a day. So that's 2,400 milligrams total in your day, especially if you have high blood pressure. So we want you to try to reduce your salt intake. So reduce it during your cooking, so you're not cooking with salt, but you certainly are not putting salt on your food at the table. So take the salt shakers off your table, and you're never going to be going like this with your salt shaker in front of on your food. If you need to have salt, if you just have to have it, then pour it in your hand and then sprinkle. You can see how much you're getting and then put it on your food, all right? But we really want you to be seasoning your food with herbs and spices. So I've basically taken salt. I don't have any salt that I use, basically. I'm using a lot of the herbs and spices now to season my food. And I'm also avoiding foods that are high in salt. So those are your hot dogs, your salt pork, your ham hocks, your dill pickles. Who thought that dill pickles were high in salt? But they do. I don't eat canned foods. And if I do eat a canned food, once I open up the can, I rinse it. Because they're in salt water. You don't know that. If you've ever opened up some canned green beans, taste what the liquid tastes like. It's salty. So you got to wash all of that off of anything that you take out of a can. Other ways to reduce your salt intake is to eat more fresh and raw than processed. So you're looking at fresh fruit, raw vegetables, as opposed to potato chips or salted nuts. Again, you're looking at your food label. You want that label to say low in salt or low in sodium. Those are what you're trying to eat. No TV dinners, very high in salt. Your soups, very high in salt. But they have soups now in the market. It'll say reduced salt right there on the can. That would be what you would buy. And again, like I said, no seasoning salt, garlic salt, onion salt. Anything that says salt is salt. Fiber. We mentioned that earlier. Lots of fiber in your diet. So you're looking for whole grains. You're looking for more raw and fresh vegetables. You're looking for, if you're going to eat rice, you're not going to eat white rice. You're going to eat brown rice. Anything that you can do to increase your fiber content in the foods that you're already eating is a good thing. When we talk about how many calories per day, women should be somewhere between 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day. Men should be somewhere between 1,800 to 2,000 calories per day. You got to count your calories. Calories in, calories out. So this is the kinds of things that you can think about. If you're a man and you're on an 1,800 calorie diet, you're able to eat a couple of meat choices during the day. And there's some examples of what that could be. It could be some tuna, or it could be salmon, or it could be an ounce of cooked poultry or fish. But if you're on a 1,500 calorie diet, if you're a woman who's on a 1,500 calorie diet, then you're eating less of those amounts every day. Fruits and vegetables, very important. They always say try to arrive at 5. That's 5 fruits and vegetables a day. We want you to do that because we know it has very little fat. That most fruits and vegetables don't have cholesterol. They're high in water content. That's good. And then they are a good source of energy, and they're also easy for you to get to. So just, buy some fresh fruits. What I do is I try to do it by making myself a smoothie. That's easy for me. Because what happens is I buy these fruits at the store and they go bad. So what I've been doing now is buying the fruits. As soon as I get them home, I put them in baggies and I put them in my freezer. And then in the morning, I use my protein powder and I throw those, go to the freezer, pull out my frozen fruits, and I throw them into a blender. And then that way I'm able to get my vitamins, and I'm also able to get my fruits and my vegetables. So that's easy for me. If I have a salad, I throw fruits on my salad, because that way I can get my fruits in. And so as you heard this morning, I just try to eat fruit as just fresh fruit as part of my diet. And I try to get fruits that last long. So I usually don't buy bananas because they go bad so fast. So if I'm going to buy a banana, again, I'm freezing it so that I can be able to use it later in my week. You're trying to get to 5. So think about that. To get to 5, you're probably going to have one or two for breakfast, 1 or 2 for lunch, and 1 or 2 for dinner. Maybe throw it in as a snack. That's the only way that you're going to get to 5. If you like soups, that's a real easy way to get to 5, because you can just grate some carrots into your soup or grate some zucchini into your soup. So you're able to get your vegetables in that way. When I just got back from Costa Rica. This is one of the places that I'm going to hopefully to get to live. Everybody has a dream, so that's my dream. And I was there, and my friend made me some cucumber water. I don't like drinking water. Let me tell you something. That cucumber water was so good. I couldn't believe how good this cucumber water was. So actually, I went to the refrigerator and I was looking for something to drink, and she had made a big, huge picture of this cucumber water. And so I started drinking cucumber water. So I'm going to get the recipe from her. I'm going to share it on my website, HOVHealth.com. We're going to start sharing recipes. So if you all have some good recipes out there, send them to me here at Healing Our Village, and we'll post up your recipes. Anything that you really like and easy to make, send me those recipes so we can share it with the village. It's going to be very important. We're starting a new website called Village Club. It's going to be villageclub-global.com, villageclub-global.com. So I'm going to have a whole recipe section on there for all of us to share our recipes. So this is what we want you to do to try to arrive at 5. Any creative ways you all out there have to do that, let us know. Everybody who has diabetes needs to see a dietitian to help you with meal planning. People who have pre-diabetes, we need to help you get part of our diabetes prevention program. We're a CDC certified program here at Healing Our Village. We're starting our classes again, starting in October, November. So we would love everyone to sign up for our diabetes prevention classes, where we talk a lot about what we're talking about today, which is healthy eating and how to get your exercise in. You got to look at your food labels. Here's an example of a label. You're looking at that label for how many servings are in that label, how many calories per serving, how much sodium is in there, and how much carbohydrate. That is how you're going to figure out what you're eating for every meal, based upon the nutrition labels of the products or the foods that you're eating. Very important. Portions are so important. You have to measure initially how much you're eating based upon those food pyramids. Remember, I told you those pyramids will tell you a half a cup of this, a cup of this, a fourth a cup of that. You need to know what that looks like. Once you've done it, then you'll be able to figure out your portion size. So when you're talking about a half a cup of something, that's about the size of a small baseball or a small tennis ball. When you're talking about one serving of fresh fruit, that's again the size of a tennis ball or baseball. If you're talking about 4 ounces to 6 ounces of meat, that's about the size of the palm of your hand. So all of these are tricks for you to be able to know what your portion sizes need to look like. When you're talking about 2 to 3 ounces of something, that's about the size of a deck of cards. All right, so you can see these are small amounts. Small amounts. For those of you who have ever been on an airplane and they gave you some of those small dishes that they used to give you on the airplane, those small little plates, that's basically what we're supposed to be eating for the meal, believe it or not. So if you think about that, you know that you're eating probably way too much. You got to learn how to substitute. So there's a lot of foods that you really like. Let's say you like candy bar. then you got to figure out what you're going to substitute so you're not eating candy bars. Everybody has all of their various things. I love chips. So now I'm basically doing baked chips instead of fried chips, right? And that takes off my salt, takes off my fat. So when I just have a small amount of those as a small snack. So you have to learn how to substitute, and substituting your fresh fruits for your donuts or your candies, that makes a big difference. Going with low fat, everything. So low fat sour cream, low fat milk, low fat everything. You should watch the fat content, because fat makes you fat. Alcohol, you need to have that discussion with your doctor. In the Mediterranean diet, they allow you to have red wine, just a small amount with your meals. That's something, again, you have to talk about with your doctor, and it needs to be counted into your calories, all right? So you have to if you're doing a 1,200 to 1,500 calorie diet, you got to count the wine as part of that calorie content. We do know that sweet wines, liqueurs, mixed drinks have high sugar content, so you want to decrease those and go with more of the wines where you can actually see the calories on the label. So there are wines out there that actually tell you how many calories per glass. So when you go next time to go buy your wines, look for those wines that are available. When you think about wine, it's basically a fat exchange. For those people that are maybe doing Weight Watchers and you're still doing exchanges, wines and alcohol are considered to be fats. This is a slide that I like to talk about just briefly. You got to stop lying to yourself. Okay, remember we started off this talk about starting our diet tomorrow. It's always tomorrow. Well, when you look in the mirror, you know what you used to look like and what you're looking like now. In fact, most of y'all probably don't have no mirrors in your house. Very important to have mirrors in your house. Very important for you to look at yourself in the mirror to make sure that you like what you see. And if you don't like what you see, do something about it. That's very important for you to do. So you can lie to everybody else, but don't lie to yourself. I know a lot of people out there are what we call closet eaters. So they're embarrassed to eat all them cookies in front of their family, so they hide them underneath the bed, or they have them in their car. So you're eating your food you know you're not supposed to eat when nobody's around. That's lying to yourself. You're not lying to them, right? So people will say, well, I don't understand how come you're having trouble losing weight because I don't ever see you eat. Okay, well, let me tell you something. If you're 50 pounds overweight, you eating. Now, I don't know what you eat, when you're eating, and I don't know where you're eating, but you're eating. We know that for a fact, all right? We talked about good snacking, so your apples, your blueberries, your boysenberries. You can put a few nuts on there to kind of make it taste better. You can put a little bit of light Cool Whip on there if you want to sort of make yourself a fruit sundae. All of those you can do. That's good snacking. We encourage you to do that. We also encourage you to maybe buy, if you can afford it, those 100-calorie snacks that are in your grocery store. That way you can know that that's what you're eating. It controls your portions for you. So you can have those 100-calorie snack packs and not have any guilt about doing that. And we also want you to burn the calories. So here this tells you the different things you need to do to burn 100 calories. So if you're going to eat 100 calories, you need to burn 100 calories. Calories in, calories out. So that's dancing for 18 minutes, or aerobics for 12 minutes, or walking for 27 minutes, right? So these are all the things that you have to do to burn that 100 calories. So that is our show for today. This is Sugar Busters, Healthy Eating and Nutrition. We thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you have any great recipes, we need you to send it to us. The Sugar Busters series is actually on demand at my website, Healing Our Village, HOVHealth.com. So we want you to go to our website, go to our YouTube website, which is Healing Our Village Official. Go to our video collection. We'd love you to share some of our videos with you. If you go to the websites, hit the subscribe button. That gets you on our mailing list. That gets you so we notify you about our programming and all of our events that we do. So we need you to subscribe, we need you to like our pages, and we need you to share it with your friends. We have something called Step Up 90. It is a mobile app that I've created to help you lose 5 to 10% of your body weight. It's part of the diabetes prevention program. And what we've decided to do is combine our app with our Village Club membership. So we need all of you out there who are trying to lose weight, who are trying to control your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your pre-diabetes, to join Village Club. It is so important. If you go to our website, we have supplies that are there, blood pressure cuffs, blood glucose monitors. We have discount pricing on all of those, so we'd love you to purchase our products. We're located here in Jonesboro on Main Street. At 177 North Main Street in Jonesboro. We do something called Wellness Wednesdays, where you can come in, stop by. We'll take up your blood pressure. We'll do a blood sugar. We'll make sure that we can get you signed up for all of our programs. So we're also doing COVID testing still here because COVID's still around. So we'd love you to come in and visit us at 177 North Main Street in Jonesboro. And do our Wellness Wednesdays. So here's our address, 177 North Main Street. Here's our 800 number. It's free. Just call us, 800-788-0941. We really need you to join Village Club. It's only $6 a month, $72 for the year, and you'll be able to get all access to my nutritionist, to my health educators, to my pharmacist to review your medicine. We'll be able to share our cookbooks with you and our various recipes. We'll invite you to all of our health events that we do year long. So it's worth your while to become part of our village. So again, we want to thank you so much for tuning in today, and we look forward to seeing you next week on our Sugar Busters live programming or pre-recorded that we do every Saturday from 12 to 1. Take care. Hello, I'm Dr. Lenore Coleman, President and founder of Healing Our Village. Did you know 88 million people in the United States have prediabetes, and that number keeps growing? Did you know that more than 2 in 3 adults in the United States are either overweight or obese? Healing Our Village is excited to introduce Step Up 90 weight loss and diabetes prevention program all in one. Finally, there is a guided mobile app that will help you lose 5 to 7% of your body weight and help you get your 150 minutes of exercise in every week. All of this is available on your cell phone, notepad, or computer. To install Step Up 90, all you have to do is go to www.stepup90 from your phone or computer and hit the install button. Once the icon is added to your home screen, you can create a unique login and password or use your Facebook or Google login credentials. Do you have prediabetes? Does diabetes run in your family? Well, once you log in to Step Up 90, you can take the diabetes risk test. If you score more than 5, you may be at risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Step Up 90 features the CDC-approved Prevent T2 program, along with their food log, fitness log, and action plan. All materials can be printed or downloaded for easy use. Our monthly calendar provides our virtual class schedule with a reminder 30 minutes before the class to help you remember. Are you looking for easy-to-understand lifestyle videos, healthy recipes, exercise classes, nutritional support groups, or a cooking demonstration? All of this is available with our premium package. The most unique feature of Step Up 90 is your ability to chat with your lifestyle coach, a clinical pharmacist, or a registered dietitian. These experts will have weekly office hours. They are there to help you achieve your lifestyle goals and manage your medications. Sign up today for Step Up 90. We have our basic package starting at $5.99, featuring our weekly Zoom classes, and our premium package at $19.99. Step Up 90, it is time for you to step up.